Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Conulberg.
This is Rangru, low, low, low.
And we return to our continuing coverage over here of the Season 6 League Finals. We are on Slutsk East today. Rang, who do we have? Well, we have, of course, Nilla and Yuta the Fourth one more time, but what do they bring in now? We still have Axis and Axis, or are we on Ally v Ally now?
Well, on left-hand side in blue, we have UUUU playing as 97th Guard Infantry with Maverick Income. Right-hand side in red, we have Nilla playing 2nd Infantry with Wait for it guys, a Maverick Income.
It's as if these guys are trying to show us what kind of crazy gunslingers they are.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that's always struck me here is, why the second? We have touted long and hard about the evils, or at least the disparaged the second. Why invest in this particular division? Wouldn't it be better to put something a little bit more forcefully armored?
No, it's a pretty good division. I mean, our main concern is always just the lack of infantry AT, but you can make up for that if you play your cards right. But the infantry's good, yeah, the tanks is alright, but as we've seen in the previous matches, it's mainly just been down to infantry, artillery, and air power, which have been securing Nilla the victory. And second has all three of those things, so we have to see how it'll play out and whether UUU can, hit back. Is it a pretty good map for 97th, as he has those IS-2s, and that northern flank would be perfect for those.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I think there's a piece of me that is a little bit concerned from the fact that Nilla does not have the good luck charm of the second, so that does concern me a little bit here.
He does have an American flag. So I think that
true.
gives him like a 10% accuracy bonus with the M1 Garand.
That's only when he pops his superpower though, and he's got to get 4 stars for that to happen.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was in the latest update.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole CO thing. P-47s for some reason just strafing ground, just a kind of firing a warning shot. I can respect it. May not be my first choice, but I can respect it.
Yeah. Definitely want to heed a warning when someone's shooting 850 cals at you, but we are seeing that off-map being dropped in that Nilla, trying to ward off UU's position on that hill, and I do like off-map. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to actually push after it. He does have the Rangers nearby, so hopefully he does decide to mop up what's left with those troops.
I'm conflicted about how I feel about the Rangers. I like the flamethrower. I feel like their range is a teensy bit short, but I guess they're good enough,
Yeah, the Rangers are pretty interesting infantry because you got the dedicated CQC blokes and then you got the better LMG teams, which are like Bren groups, but actually good. They're just very specialized, but if you get them into big firefights and high explosive being object raid, they don't have a very good time.
Well, we are seeing that push that you had anticipated. Biggest thing's going to hold them up right about now is that guard squad, the PTRD. Everything else is in kind of forced withdrawal over here. And we're seeing right now the weakness of the Rangers. Rangers can't do diddly squat, and they're not popping smoke, so they're literally just taking rounds for no. There we go.
There we go. We've seen a second off map from Nilla for the southern town position now. Bringing in an M10 tank destroyer, and he does have the Ranger LMGs on standby, so this could also go pretty well for him, considering just how clumped up UU's forces are on that southern flank.
Kind of fascinated to see what happens to this T-34 hero coming in. So this is Alexander Oskin over here. He is going to go to this kind of reverse slope. Not the craziest of killer just yet, but there's an awful lot of things like these Ranger Marauders, so could be pretty bad pretty quickly.
And the Shermans, of course, with that stabilizers, very good chance of getting that first shot. But here we go. Both T-34s coming over the hill, and
I'm getting distracted by this artillery barrage because we are seeing all of these troops on here. There's one Ultima Cheeky who's feeling cheeky. And other than that, everybody else very wisely kind of says, you know what, maybe I should go and join another branch today.
I like how he follows up the off-map artillery barrage by actually charging the off-map artillery unit. Just to make sure, like, okay, yeah, the artillery did drop in. I guess he's trying to get those surrenders, yeah, but
Yeah.
the Guard DPs are gonna be able to run out of here. I believe. I don't know why he didn't actually get the surrender. I think he didn't have line of sight.
Yeah, I think it's a line of sight issue.
Must have been. Anyway, I mean, it's a great push here from Nilla. He's going to be able to mop up this southern town and going to be thrown in some basics to basically hold what he's captured.
Which is good because UUU over here in the meantime, though, is already holding the central position. He's up 13-11, so we are seeing some signs of life here early on.
Yeah. And he's playing pretty, not super heavy, but like decently up north. He's got the Maxim guns, he's got the IS-1, and this is what he needs to do. This northern flank is going to be perfect for his division with those big bloody tanks. There's really nothing ground rise which can reliably penetrate. It was like, I think APCR shells and the Hellcat and Wolverine have a decent shot, but that's really it.
It's one of those things where it's possible, but it's not my first, you know.
Yeah. And it's APCR. It's the IS-2 has a good chance of living even if it does get penetrated.
Truth. Well, there's a 105 Sherman howitzer up here to the north. I think he's engaging some of those lighter infantry positions. No, he's going after the IS-1.
Yeah, just trying to... Oh, he's selling it with HE shells. He has the heat shells actually off on purpose, so... I think he's just trying to tickle the IS-1 crew.
And I guess it's justifiable. It's one of those things that I'm surprised to see. And do I see stovepipe? Yep, we're seeing 60s. The 60s are out. They're trying to shell this southern central position, even as their comrades across the river are continuing to be aggressive. And we're seeing the Rangers. Here's where the Rangers excel. Tommies, grease guns, and a flamethrower. They're not going to be easily going toe-to-toe with the Ultimate Cheeks, as you can see right there. But those guys, not too shabby in those really, really tight quarters.
Yep, and the Ranger LMGs are definitely very good for just the town fights on this map, because especially in the southern town, it's pretty open really. There's a lot of open field between you and the next building block. So being able to, well, shoot anybody with two M19 machine guns is a pretty surefire way to make sure no one gets across that field alive.
Of course, if they got across that field dead, I'd have to start asking different questions. But, it's because at that point, those guys would be holier than I, so, you know.
I don't think they've unlocked a Necromancer unit yet for 2nd Infantry. That should be in Steel Division 3. And they go to like the alternate reality World War II.
World War
It's
III.
really weird. Yeah.
What's that tabletop that you play that's got all the...
I don't play it, but yeah, it's Conflict 47 with like all
go.
the weird like Nazi werewolf zombie things. It's a very silly setting.
Stein, except with tabletop.
It's this like weird Pope sci-fi with World War II aesthetic. But up north, we are actually seeing a bit of an armoured push here from Nilla. With just like Shermans and an M10. The IS-1 is going to be required to try and halt this push. If you can kill the M10, I mean the Shermans can't really do too much against the IS-1.
Of course, you would have to shoot at the M10 first, but
Yeah.
I think, yep, he's auto...
You can do it, IS-1.
Oh, he certainly can.
Yeah.
Looking over here at the M10s overall, I'm trying to think about how many... Oh, yeah, so there's still a good chunk of them. I am surprised to see the 9 over here in C, considering the income that's there, but I feel like you definitely need to bring it, and the M10 does eventually take it out, so well done there. That's a big...
Yeah, that was the only one IS-1.
Oh, that's why it's an IS-1, because only one of them.
That's very true, and he has 2 IS-2s. Oh no, he has more. That joke doesn't work. We're gonna have to cut that part out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Belief editor, can you please take it for me?
Yeah. Wait, we have an editor?
Oh, please. My editor is my... actually, I can't finish that. There's going to be way too many jokes. Jesus is my editor? No, but down to the south, leaving all casual heresy aside, the town fight is not going well for Strafniki, which is a weird thing to say, because Strafniki can win through by just kind of throwing their bodies at a problem.
Yeah, there's just been enough pretty much friction from those Ranger LMGs to slow him down for the time being, but it seems like the massive bodies of those penal battalions will be enough to force back those elite Rangers for the time being. But yeah, I mean, at least UU does have like a decent amount of fire support in his southern town with the T-34 and the SU-85. He just needs to, you know, I think like getting some mortars down south here. Oh, he doesn't even have mortars. It's all just off-map artillery from his end.
Well, he had a couple of those knee mortars.
Oh yeah, the 50
They got
mils.
taken out pretty quickly.
Same with Oskin.
Didn't see what killed him. Was that 57 mils?
Probably.
We know it wasn't the Rangers. I mean, they were too busy leading the way. But a 1410 has occurred over here, and we have Nilla kind of grinding forward, which is a weird thing to kind of envision. These P-47s are murderous, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're seriously one of the best planes in game. They're fast. I mean, they're not maneuverable, but they have pretty good HP/resilience. And, well, with 850 cal machine guns, you can kind of just kill anything. Really. I mean, 150 cal is scary enough. It's murder. Bloody murder at that. The IS-2 up north, he's going to get rocketed.
And a bit of a miss. Those guys, unfortunately, I think he took a little bit of ground fire that caused some issues there. I'm actually watching the flamethrower troops over here starting to make s'mores out of, you know, Samoviets. But, you know, and it's weird because Automachiki is just... It's almost like rock, paper, Automachiki, but if you have an Automachiki, you beat everything. Like, rock doesn't take out Automachiki. Automachiki beats Automachiki.
In a way, yeah, in a way. But if you can get that alpha damage of like the flamethrowers or satchel challenges, the Automachikis do have a bit of a harder time. Especially if you do get like 2 to 3 flamethrower shots and 1 Automachiki shot.
Well, GMC supply truck going for the 60s. So, you know, once again, and this has been kind of been the consistent message over here, that Nilla loves his artillery and he's very good at using it.
Yeah, same with the air power as well. It's just, as we know, with Steel Division, it really, I mean, killing stuff is nice and all, but it's all about suppression. You pretty much take territory just by forcing the enemy to leave the territory, by convincing them, by, well, giving them concussions with high explosives.
And when you're looking at the American kind of weaponry over here, there are a few nations more skilled at giving concussions to random people who may or may not be fighting them.
Yeah, I mean, the sports are full of it.
Exactly. I know, I'm happy you said that, because it finally proves my point that the U.S. has declared war on all national football players since the invention of that weird sport. Looking over here, that central position. So, where Oskin died, there is a replacement T-34 Razvedka, and the Razvedkas over here, they aren't going to be perfect, but I think there's just enough recon that they could be kind of deadly here.
Indeed, and just enough flying support. I'm thinking he's a little bit scared of moving anything over that hill just because of potential anti-tank guns. But as we've seen in the central position, there's not a whole lot of anti-armor here from Nilla. And as we know, if he was to bring up a T-34, there's nothing that can kill it. Of course, with 2nd Infantry, not many infantry anti-tank weaponry, so it's just kind of an engagement area where he needs to be taking advantage of his tanks.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And what's more, yes, he may not have the pure penetration power over here that the M10s do. But he's at the numbers, and I think the M10s have to respect a numbers game. They don't want to be engaging anything close to a fair fight, let alone an unfair fight.
Yeah. I've seen a whole heap of, like, bombs being dropped down south at P-38 getting a pretty good hit. And Nilla once again gonna be securing that southern town, but not with a whole lot. His infantry forces is pretty diminished, and he has the anti-tank guns, but the 105 is gonna be mainly leading the charge here in his counterattack.
Heck of a counterattack, though.
Yeah. I And we're going to see a counter attack here from UUU with that off-map artillery down south, and has to do a pretty good job of hopefully killing those anti-tank guns. Because if he can just, secure the tank game, UUU would be in a pretty good position.
True. True. I'm trying to think over here. Oh yeah, I forgot this. I always misplace the numbers of the second anti-tank positions. I always forget that there's literally only 3 of them over here. Outside of that, couldn't tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, and the 105 Sherman is trying to engage this Su-85 as he plays, slow pitch softball. Takes it out. Jeez. And then dies 3476.
You think the Su-85 could just, reverse a little bit to the left?
Of course not. No. Don't speak such silly things, you Canadian pig dog. Like, no, we don't worry about that stuff.
It's like your joke of, British musketmen, we take turns shooting each other, and it's like the gentlemanly way of doing things.
I suppose it's true. I mean, I guess I hadn't ever really heard that joke before, and wow, that entire town has just... Well, there's not much of a town anymore. But you know what there is? Hellcats!
Oh, hell. Oh, hell indeed. Being curious to see how he uses these Hellcats. They're definitely fantastic aggressive units, and he is going to be aggressing them pretty hard in, but there's not much recon or infantry to back him up, and those Strafniki, if they unload, those Hellcats are dead.
Yeah, they're dead. They're going to die. Yep. But the funny thing for me is that town, why are you fighting over the town? There is no more town.
It's just craters at this point.
It truly, truly is.
Yeah, and he's actually going to back up the Hellcats completely, and I know, they're probably better served in the center or northern position where you can actually stretch your legs a little bit.
It's more like a snipey kind of thing?
Yeah, and just, going around big flanks, like a Hellcat rush all the way in the far north here would work wonders, as you definitely need that speed to take the enemy by surprise.
Well, there's still an IS-2 up there, so right now that's not the first place I think I'd be going.
Yep, and that IS-2 is just as long as you can keep up the anti-aircraft fire, there's nothing that can kill the IS-2.
That is true, except for like a dose of late-stage capitalism.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the next attack of that's supposed to be.
Yeah, it won't be till like 1991, so they have a little bit of time.
Good point. There's enough selenium to hold out until then.
It's the Stalin tank.
It's true. True, it's the name of the boss, man.
Yeah.
Take this Niki falling back right into this mortar plate. Ugh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. Poor play. Like, I mean, UU has been fighting pretty desperately just to try to get a foothold onto this hill. It's been pretty back and forth, but Nilla is just pretty much, keeping him off it, substantially speaking. Like, yes. UU makes a lot of push, but then he's forced back, and that's all Nilla really needs to do is just hold him here. I mean, actually, is a 12-12, and both sides could afford to make some sort of push. Actually, UU up north could probably capture that northern flag, just in the middle of that crossroads, which is a stupid place for a flag if he just moved up a little bit.
Well, it's almost as bad as the fact that these guard DPs were aggressing on these flamethrowers in the basics, and the first impulse was, yes, I'm going to throw smoke down so they can get closer.
Well, I guess you kind of want them to get closer so you can, flame them, really.
That may truly be. I still would not be like, yes, let's go and toss out smokes to encourage these guys who can already see me to get even closer and engage me. I'll wait the minute. I'll wait for the smoke to clear. That's fine for me. I think right now this kind of pushing in here is a bit of a mistake, to put it mildly.
Yeah, for the guard DPs, yeah. They're just gonna get burned. I mean, when there's smoke, there's fire. Oh, the IS-2 goes down. Finally, enough P-47 rocket runs is enough to blow it up.
Wow, I wasn't paying attention to that even remotely at all. But there's two more P-47s that might be making a gun run after that 37 mil. Or are they retreating? I'm a little confused here. Oh, nope, they're going in, stepping into an attack run.
Yeah. We've seen the Hellcat coming in for a cavalry charge in this northern central position. Definitely a much better location for him.
Yeah, but there's still not even a lot for them to worry about here either. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Yes, sir?
There's not a whole lot of armor targets for him to worry about, but, you know, back him up with some infantry to just rush in and capture some town positions. You can potentially flank around and kill some infantry and anti-aircraft units, which wouldn't be too bad.
That is true. That is certainly true. I think this anti-air position is either going to be killed. Oh, it's very close to being killed. Looking all the way down to the south, what remains of that town is just more and more ruins. This is that nuclear kind of warfare that most people did not want to be dealing with. Fighting over these shreds of what used to be, you know, the college butchers, I guess, and, you know, Moscow didn't have colleges there.
Yeah, so the 1960s battle and the 1940s here, just complete and utter destruction. Rhino being brought in, that armor definitely saving its arse, yeah. Does get the kill.
Absolutely. But he can't be too plucky here. There's still 57 mils, just twos. Those long barrels are ridiculous.
Yeah. There's quite a decent amount of anti-tank guns here spread out from UUU to contain any major armor plays here from Nilla. And it'd be interesting to see how Nilla's armor does end up playing out, because he doesn't have a whole lot of it. It's really more concentrated in the Wolverines coming into C phase here. He has been treating pretty efficiently, so I don't think he's in a terrible spot.
We are seeing as well, the Hellcats, like you said, they're doing some sniping. They're doing some light kind of infantry support, and I hesitate to call it purely infantry support, because it's more like these, you know, light rifles are coming into it. You take on these max.
I mean, it's very historically accurate for the American tank destroyers, mainly just being used as infantry support vehicles.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, there weren't a whole lot of tanks for them to be super concerned about.
Yeah, exactly.
Another P-47 making a run over here on, what the, okay.
A supply truck.
No, there's the anti-tank one. That's going to engage the IS-2, but that is not big.
Let's go on. Regular high explosive bomber run. Needs to try and bomb into the smoke here.
Well, yeah, exactly. Hit.
Or the anti-aircraft gun.
Yeah.
Doesn't do a whole lot, however, but still, forcing the IS-2 to hide behind smoke for the time being, giving Nilla a little bit of time to try to push through with his rifle push in the southern central position. But the Hellcats aren't providing enough high explosive fire support to actually do anything meaningful, as they don't carry a whole lot of high explosive shells.
No, they don't. You can see it right now. The IS-2 is still ridiculously deadly.
Yeah. And pick him off very easy. We're just seeing constant airstrikes here from Nilla, because really those airstrikes are his best bet in killing those IS-2s, as we've seen previously.
Problem is, though, that there still are two anti-air positions, and, you know, U to the fourth over here definitely knows that without that, his position in the central arena, let's say that's not the theater, is tenuous at best.
Yep. And down south, we're seeing some more engineer reinforcements here from Nilla. He has to try and secure that town. I feel like he has a pretty good security on that southern town now. I mean, the multiple pushes here from UU have just not really worked out, and I feel like he's much more focused on just committing up north, which really is what he should be doing. This is the best area for him to push.
P-47's not being able to be as aggressive on the front lines as they want to be. Making the runs over here, T-34-76. Nothing too crazy, just enough to know that he's still there. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, the main target, of course, is the Stalin tank, but you have the anti-air and potential fighters. It's getting a little bit riskier, actually, trying to go after him. We are seeing his P-38 nuke Northern Guards and completely kills him here. I think Nilla's just going to be able to flip that flag with the 50 cal flamethrower.
And that's going to be kind of a problem here, because that's a -2. And just as a reminder already, this series is at 2-0 right now in favor of Nilla. PE2 going the other direction. Central position's going to go goodbye. I mean, come on. That's 2,000 pounds of bombs.
Yep, and only 10 guys.
Yeah, exactly. That was underwhelming.
Yeah.
Really underwhelming.
I do like the push of a T-34 to try and, you know, get a few kills here and there, but he really needs some infantry to back up that push. You could have got like a few infantry units into that farmstead and actually control the position, but the flamethrower will still be, you know, it is only one guy, but still, one guy for flamethrower can be a rather nasty conundrum.
True. That's an Enigma wrapped in a flamethrower wrapped in a tinderbox, really. Holding fire, literally. So I think along last step here, those guards moving in. So the guards are going to move in, and they're going to get roasted, and then that's when the T-34 is going to swing back on through.
Yeah, this could be a really damn good push here from UUU. I mean, if he times this perfectly, I mean, a Rhino as well should be suppressed. Okay, the P-47 isn't going for that guard position here, it's just going for the anti-tank guns. Or the T-34. That's great kill. Great kill there indeed.
Was that here? Oh, it's 152. Oh, God. What they are about to receive, ladies and gentlemen, may they be truly, truly thankful. Yikes.
Gonna be a lot of explosives, yeah, but a lot of Nilla's infantry is more in the northern area of the forest, so he still will have at least a bit of a foothold.
For now, yeah.
Yeah, for now. I also want to point out we got the Jeep 50 cal rush up north, which is ballsy to say the least. Not gonna.
It's the wrong time for a lot of this, but a mod deuce over here, the 12-7 is not gonna do a whole lot.
Yeah, about 45 mil definitely coming in clutch. But even then, I mean, Nilla still has that flag under his control. Just giving him that.
Those Jeeps are manuals.
Oh, that's a very good point, Khan. Very good point.
I do what I can. Engineers and rifles over here, down to the southern side. Yeah, these guards are eventually going to flip it, but it's not because I have overwhelming numbers. Indeed, if you look at the Americans are only slightly less numerous than their, communist opponents here.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird shock. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially in the infantry department. I mean, nice thing, of course, with the US infantry is everyone has a bloody Garand, which even just means the basic, rifle troops do provide a pretty good amount of firepower. Definitely a little bit more so in, I guess the Guardiers do have the DPs, to be fair, but still those M1s are quite nice. And also, of course, Nilla just using those mortars and artillery pretty effectively.
The fact that he's calling artillery down on his own troops kind of tells me what he thinks about the prognosis of those guard squads.
Yeah. And this could be a more deadly strike now, considering Nilla's forces are more condensed in this one, but he really only has 2 potential guard squads to follow up, or 1 potential guard squad to follow up through to try and actually get this position, which isn't, a great counter-attack force.
No. No, it is not. P-47 flying cap, really overall, I'm waiting to see when it starts trying to strafe everything again, but, for the time being, it's 13-11. No one needs to really kind of rush through stuff. We're just kind of taking our time.
Yep, Nilla just getting that nice and steady plus 1 point advantage. I mean, UU still has opportunities, of course, to push on through. The IS-2 up north is alive and healthy. It's just trying to find an area to push. I mean, really where the flamethrower squad is in the southern, northern central position would be the best bet, and then potentially trying to get the next flag just down the road.
Sure.
It's a pretty, flag-rich area, and with the long-range firepower of his tanks, that would be a very good idea.
The mortars aren't quite taken out. I always forget. I don't forget. I underestimate the amount of suppression that all of those tank-mounted machine guns can do.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like to a certain extent, like this, the Americans must have been the most anti-air focused. Like again, ADA is on everything.
Yeah.
Mortars are gonna get slaughtered here though. It's one. Yep.
Yeah, just having like a 50 cal machine gun on top of everything does. I mean, it's not going to shoot down any planes, but it's definitely going to make the pilot think twice.
True. It's absolutely true. Checking in the IS-2, ammunition loads up top. He's got a ton of material over here for the DT. The dish goes empty. He's got AP shells. Right now, he's just a huge roadblock. I'm not even going to pretend how many tons he is. What's like 65 tons, 70 tons?
I think it's like 50 tons.
It's that light.
I think it's roughly the same as the Tiger, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it's a big tank, but it's also a pretty compact tank, as in Soviet tradition. I'm not 100% in my estimate of 50 tons, so I do think that's pretty close to the ballpark.
That's feel like a Rooster question, doesn't it?
Yeah, or just whoever in the comments wants to Google IS-2 tonnage.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And then come back and tell us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's good. I like the fact that it's so heavy in the first place, but its ammunition loadout, of course, limits its kind of tactical flexibility here. We can see the limitations of it right now.
And we're going to be seeing a supply truck, a much-needed supply truck to give them some more high explosive cells for fun boom times, which is an accurate description of how the IS-2 shoots its gun. Just lots of booms. But slow booms, because of the slow reload.
So it's more like the boom.
Yeah. Or boom.
Take out this Niki over here to the south, going back through the ruins of that town. Again, admire their gumption, admire the thought process here. I feel like you had the right of it before. It's time for them to be way more aggressive to the northern side. This town is practically worthless with strategic ideas now.
Yeah. I mean, you can at least get out one flag on the outskirts, but, I mean, throwing in these infantry, I mean, there's a bloody Sherman there and a whole heap of American troops dug in pretty well. He's just not going to make that much progress here. I mean, it's just keeping that one flag far south under his control, and, like, the two flags on the edge of the hill really should just be his main concern in that area, and then just trying to push up north of... I mean, that one flamethrower guy, that literal one guy is holding that flag by himself in that farmstead.
Well, that's why he's holding his fire, man. He's just keeping that spark alive of American exceptionalism, so... Certainly seemed to be a good case. Regardless, P-47, well, he's pushing back immediately. I wanted to see more M10s. I'm not saying we needed an M10 brigade, per se. But I feel like, yes, as pricey as they are, you'd start leaning on them a lot more.
I kind of disagree. It hasn't been a whole lot of, like, armored assets, especially in the southern side. It's mainly just been infantry he's having to worry about, and the Shermans are a little bit better for that task.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. Fury. Okay. There's supposed to be at least one more rocket barrage, I think, in the 132s. I think the 152 is tapped. Might be.
I think both sides are probably getting pretty low in their off-map artillery counters. But it doesn't really matter too much for Nilla, because he has so much off-map in regards to airplanes that he can just continue blowing everything to hell up.
Well, and his rocket planes are still very, very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
P-47 making a run over here on this disc tube. We're gonna take it out. 3, 2, 1, and there we go.
God damn, just completely knocking out a lot of heavy hitters here down south in just a few seconds.
Yes.
And there we go, it's a 15-9 here for Nilla, just being able to secure that southern side, and I really want to see UUU make like a northern push here. I mean, even as the anti-aircraft in front of the tank, just because of the threat of enemy aircraft. And it seems like such a wasted opportunity here. Like, he's trying to push more into like the south and central positions, but as we see time and time again, it just doesn't really pay off.
Well, I think the biggest that's happening here is we are just seeing how can I put
The
this?
God view?
Well, you're the that's true. But I feel like it's one of those things that he's seeing his opponent yell at him, so the impulse is let me yell right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to like counter-attack the area which they're attacking, right? Like which I definitely do understand, because you kind of want to like stop him and then push him back in that zone, but sometimes you just have to, make do with what you got. Be fine with your lot in life or whatever saying you want to supplement here. And I mean, at least he's gonna be able to barely get those flags in a central position. Maybe not. Those rhinos and Shermans are proven to be a bit of a tough customer to deal with.
Indeed. Indeed. And the P-47s are going to be continuous and fierce. I mean, like, this stuff is causing more than a few hassles. Oh no, he's making a side run over here on this IS-2.
Oh, sneaky. Right go through the AA and you can go around it.
Well, when you aim like that, that's why.
Yeah.
He didn't even drop his bombs.
Very anticlimactic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We see just how much, focus Nilla is trying to, use to knock out IS-2, trying to actually get a flank around here. Because if he knocks it out, that northern flank is pretty much secure out for Nilla. The M10s and the Hellcat will be enough to just deter any Soviet pushes without the IS in array.
True. I look at the rifles that are early and the rifles that are late, and you never really think that a late rifle adding in just that extra BAR is really going to add that much firepower. But man, they have really good staying power.
Yeah. But you think it'd be like at least a rifle squad which would arrive on time.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why it takes them so much extra time, is they have to get that BAR.
That's true. You gotta hit up the bar first before you head off to Raw.
Exactly. And you say, who's going to buy the first round? And at that point, everyone loses the joke, and then it gets
It just seemed like it's match definitely feels like a lot of like small skirmishes between the 50-yard line. It's been back and forth, and UUU has been able to like hit and do counterattacks, but it's coming back to the issue as we've seen in his previous matches where he hasn't been able to get past that 50-yard line really. He manages to stabilize but not manage to really exploit.
Which is a strange thing to be concerned about, I will say.
It's definitely felt like there's been opportunities for him to do so, but he just hasn't been able to take advantage of yet.
Yes. I was going to comment about the fact that the IS-2 was going to take some shots over here from the M10 as well as the Hellcat. Not to be the case right now, that's for sure. But like you said, if you lose that IS-2, the northern flank is gone. Not tenuous, not this, not that, gone.
Yeah, because the Hellcats, the mortars, and the mortar half-track coming in pretty useful here to probably slow down its infantry push.
I'm
More
liking
M10s.
down to the south, just kind of... They've seen their brethren being bombarded galore, so it's like, oh yes, we're going to make sure that there's no air power coming through. Now, if there's an anti-artillery, material here as well, that'd be better still.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not the case.
I do like how UU is bringing back more of those 50mm mortars. Definitely could have used them a little bit earlier. I mean, he had run at right at the start of the match, but for trying to knock out Nilla's dug and infantry positions, these things work absolutely great when they have ammunition.
True.
Ammo is pretty important to make a weapon work. We're not at laser technology yet.
Yeah, I guess it's probably a better idea to have a couple rounds of mortar ammunition as opposed to a tube that just kind of sits in the ground and doesn't even make you coffee.
Yeah, I don't know how. I think if you if someone strung a 50mm mortar tube at me, it would hurt, but it's not the most efficient way to use that weapon system.
I get the feeling that you wouldn't probably even wake up at that point. I feel like you'd be lying in bed because a 50 mil mortar tube is not light.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But it's better than being stabbed.
True. I can't say it's happened very often to me, but that definitely seems accurate.
You're doing better than me, that's for sure.
It's man, dude, stop picking fights with Moose.
Look, they give me the 50 eyes, and it's just like, hey, you can't insult my mother like that.
Dude, things are gonna get hairy.
They do. I mean, one of them even like bit my sister. It was awful.
I did not expect, the unexpected Monty Python there. Although, it's alpacas too, isn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know. Either way, I will tell you that, moose, alpacas, basically anything that's got 4 legs is a little bit shifty. You gotta watch out for those guys.
Yes. And Hellcats too. I mean, we've seen in the central position as Hellcat doing his counterattack, suppressing both Guardian and Scrotch. We've seen another push here from the Guardians, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, Nilla just has enough fire support, mainly with the air power. All the IS-2 does go down to the P-47, and that pretty much screws over any northern push. Does die in with its victory, but still, that's definitely a raw trade.
Well, and I feel like unsung heroes here. I think it's probably safe to say we probably could take this to a ×2.
Sounds good.
4140. But it's probably, the unsung heroes here, I think, have been just that consistent artillery barrages and ×2. The consistent artillery barrages from the 60mm mortars, not in this one, but it's like, like the IG-33s. I think a lot of very, very good usage here, and I think that just to a certain extent, that UUU just wasn't able to capitalize on his own artillery as extensively.
Yeah, like, UUU's mainly just been doing the infantry and tank pushes in most of these matches, and he hasn't really been able to, like, supplement with that fire support to back him up, as we've clearly seen. And Nilla's has done a very good job of pretty much, utilizing combined arms tactics to... It's not even so much the tanks, it's more of just, like, the artillery and air power to just keep the enemy suppressed and either just, doing a big counterattack or slowing down the advance and, consolidating his position.
Which is true. It's just that things just did not work out throughout this best of 5, it seems, for UUUU.
Yeah, not at all.
But regardless, well played to both sides. Definitely engaging games throughout the entire thing. This last one here, I think this was just slowly the writing on the wall from all that artillery, but well done. Way to hang in there the entire time there, you.
Yeah.
And Nilla, congratulations as being that Season 6 Finals winner, so well done to him.
Yeah, getting the, I think it's roughly a $300 cash prize, so, not bad at all. KD is... Yeah, 800, which seems... 800, which seems pretty reasonable for that sort of match.
Well, and you can see right now, P-47, this is just the ground strafing one over here.
Whoa.
Kills it just with his machine guns.
Wow.
Bomber killing another 4. We have a P-38J killing a couple of P-47. Yeah, these P-47s were amazing. Levy, that's the dude, I think that was the rocket plane that picked up... No, Levy and Espinosa. So Espinosa was the rocket plane. The other P-47 over here picking up a 4-pack of his own vehicles. Yeah, air power was a dominant in this.
Yeah, holy crap, that was... I mean, we did see a lot of bombing runs, and yeah, they were pretty much keeping UU's head down the entire time. Anytime you made a push, P-47 or P-38 would say hello with some rather big high explosive ordnance.
On the reverse side of things, the most killy thing that UUUU had, though, was that the 132 off-map.
Yeah.
So, a little bit unfortunate, because that is not what you want to have being your killiest thing.
Yeah, I mean, some of the tanks are decent, but, you don't win battles with, like, positive KDs with your heavy tanks. You need to take territory. It's a shame it really didn't make more of an aggressive push with the IS-2s. I understand where he was hesitant because of the air power, but even just doing like a foot slogging push where you're moving slowly, waiting for the anti-aircraft guns to keep up with you, definitely would have been a little bit like it would have been something at least.
True. True. But like we said, well done over here to our grand champion. And other than that, I mean, folks, that pretty much concludes at least the finals of season 6. We might see a couple of incidental replays here and there. But any final thoughts before we, raise our victor high on our shoulders and carry him off to Valhalla?
No, but yeah, congratulations, Nilla, and
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed. Folks, in that case, we will see you, well, some point soon. Until that time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.